Hi guys. This topic, it's the last class we're going to have for information technology law, and what we're going to talk about today is the computer professional. The computer professional. That's chapter 35 in the material I gave to you. I'm just telling you everything that is important that's for you to know. So it says here that every person that's involved in information and communication systems, whether the person is involved in teaching or designing or specifying or developing or testing or maintaining these systems, these people hold special responsibilities. And because they have these responsibilities which they must do, they can actually do those things very well, do very great in handling their responsibilities, and also they can cause a lot of damage, a lot of harm in the course of doing their job. So for these reasons, it's expected that these people have to be held to some kind of standard, and they have to live by some codes of conduct in which they need to behave in order not to cause damage to people's property, people's information, and all whatnot. So all professional bodies have codes of conduct for their members. So persons belonging to these professional bodies are required to adhere to these codes of conduct of the body, and if they don't, of course, there will be disciplinary actions. So, in relation to professionals operating in the information and communication technology field, there are relevant aspects of any code practice. Okay, there are relevant aspects of any code practice, and these include an obligation to performing duties with due care and diligence and not accepting tasks beyond the individual's level of competence, the acceptance of full responsibility for their work and that of others working under their authority and direction, a duty to keep up to date by participating in continuing professional development courses, and so on. We have that on the next page, and mine is not numbered, so but I think it's page 6 to 8. So go through those items there, which are the relevant aspects of any code of practice. So go through them. So professionals need to adhere to those practices so that they will be kept in check at all times. Okay, so moving on. Remember we mentioned something about whistleblowing in the last discussion we had for the law of confidence. So whistleblowing, there's an Employees' Rights Act of 1996 which protects employees who end up being whistleblowers. I told you what whistleblowers are. For instance, an employee working in a company, and then they find out that, their company is doing something very, very dangerous that is harming people. Maybe, let's say, another company is now, maybe they spill oil in the place where they're drilling oil. They spill oil into the rivers, and then it goes into the rivers and kills all the sea animals, the fishes, and all that. So an employee of that company who sees this thing can decide to go and report to the government. So there's an Employees Act that protects that employee from being disciplined by their company. Okay. So moving on, then we'll talk about expert witnesses. If you notice, I'm not talking about everything in this material. Expert witnesses is in page 631. So a number of computer professionals act as expert witnesses in civil and criminal trials. You know what an expert witness is? I don't know if you guys watch all these law movies like Suits, or I can't really remember, but I used to watch Suits. So you can get a computer professional who is an expert to act as a witness. So they can call on a witness during a court case and say, we're getting this professional, he's a data scientist, for instance, and he's going to tell us why the claims of the defendant is wrong, or blah, 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 that kind of things. So the use of expert witness is common in trials involving complex technological issues. As with expert witnesses, apart from being truly experts in their field, they are subject to a number of duties as well as rules of practice applicable to the giving of evidence by expert witnesses. So an expert witness is just like any witness they bring, it's just that they have an expertise in their area, in their field of study. So they come to help to, clarify things that are being difficult for people to understand, especially in technology. It's not everybody that has this things. A lot of people don't know things about computer science and all whatnot. So in civil proceedings, I just want to let you know that an expert is an expert instructed to give or prepare evidence for the purpose of court proceedings. So an expert witness is the duty of an expert witness to help the court on matters within his expertise. So that was what I meant to say. The expert helps the court with matters that are within his expertise. So even a psychiatrist might be brought in when they are dealing with maybe a case that the person maybe committed murder and now is claiming that he's insane. So they might bring in a psychiatrist who's an expert to assess this person that is claiming he was insane when he committed the murder. So the psychiatrist will assess him to see if indeed he's really insane. So expert witnesses, it says here that they are actually common in software copyright cases and computer crime cases. Computer crime cases and software copyright cases. So in the exam, if I ask you a question like name two type of cases that expert witnesses are common in, I'm sure you will know what to tell me. I'm just saying, it's not that I'm going to bring it in the exam. I actually already have my exam questions. So that's the end of that topic for the computer professional. So in summary, let's just say a whistleblower may disclose his concerns to the employer or other responsible person. A whistleblower may not be protected if he carries out unauthorized acts to demonstrate his concerns. So a whistleblower, if he does something else aside from blowing the whistle, maybe he does something else that is damaging to the company, aside from just the whistle blowing, he will not be protected. The act will not, the Eyewitness Act will not protect him for that. They will only protect him for the whistleblowing, so the guy will be in serious trouble. So of all the duties an expert witness may have, the highest duty is to the court. The highest duty is to the court for any expert witness. And then, unlike other witnesses, opinions of expert witnesses are admissible as evidence. So, as with other witnesses, expert witnesses have immunity against civil proceedings in respect of the evidence they give. This is information technology law, so we must delve into law. So the last thing we'll talk about is privacy, freedom of expression, and the impacts of ICT on society. That's chapter 36. Chapter 36 in that material I gave you. So it's not everything that we are going to treat in this chapter, just the things that concern us. So information and communication technology, I hope you know what that means. Information and communication technology, that's ICT. It's all pervasive and has probably had the greatest impact on society than any other technology. You would agree that ICT has the most impact on the society than any other type of technology, okay? You agree that we rely on ICT for everything, every single thing. Like when my phone just shuts down in a day, I can't function. Everything is there, my bank apps, my this, my that, so you will agree with me. So we rely on ICT for all the benefits it can deliver, such as powerful information processing and storage and better quality sound and image reproduction, increased access to information, online services, electronic contracting, access to government and public bodies, and mobile communications. So individuals' privacy rights are very vulnerable in the information society. All manner of personal information is stored in our computer system. You will agree. Your phone will have your personal things, your bank details, even your test results, your medical test results, your pictures, everything is stored in these things. So some of this information might be accessed remotely from anywhere in the world. Like we will store some of our things on the cloud so that when we travel out, maybe we're abroad, we can still have access to them. If we didn't go with our system, our big laptops, we store things on the cloud. So much of this information we store is sensitive, such as health information, just like I said, and this could cause significant harm if it got into the wrong hands. So another issue is the ability of others to place information about us online. You know that some people may just wake up one morning and decide to tarnish your image and then place any kind of information about you online, just lying on your head and all whatnot. Okay? So that one, of course, you can sue the person for defamation in a sane society. Yes, you can't just wake up in the morning and put up information about somebody that's not true. You can sue, or if you want to, for defamation, but in Nigeria it will take like forever. So privacy rights can be compromised by unauthorized access to personal and private information which is legitimately stored in information systems, whether with the consent of the individual or otherwise. But another threat to privacy comes from information which is made available for access without consent or lawful authority. So, another issue is that of data capture and surveillance. Clearly, the capture of data from an individual's computer by use of cookies. Did you know that these cookies that they, like maybe you open a website to say accept all cookies. Do you know that they steal information from us when we accept all cookies? I don't know if you know that. I didn't know that. I just knew that recently. So, and there are other kinds of ways information can be taken from our system. Like I mentioned before, spyware. Someone can place a spyware on your system, or even some malware viruses that you get online. So you lose information that way. Okay? So, and that is obviously without your knowledge, and that is breach of your privacy. They say same applies to intercepting and recording telephone conversations or data transmissions and to CCTV. You do know that if even these are call recordings we have on our phone, if you record someone without the person's consent, that's also breach of privacy. So even if you record your conversation with someone on your phone, as long as the other party is not part of it, the person's consent was not given to be recorded, that's breach of privacy. I just thought you should know that. Freedom of expression. The right to express oneself is fundamental in a free and democratic society. But in Nigeria, try it. Try expressing yourself and see what happens. Unfortunately, governments in some countries do not recognize a right of freedom of expression, and some try to interfere with what is available in their countries over the internet. I don't know if you guys are aware, in China, they have no access to all these, our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those things. Their government banned that thing years ago now. So companies like Google, Microsoft, and Yahoo, they complied with that instruction given by China, that restriction, they complied with it. So there are some countries like that. I think one other country follows suit. I don't know if it's Iran or Iraq. Let me not say, but the one I'm 100% certain is China. They did that. They don't have all this, our Instagram and Twitter, that we are always online. And remember, Nigeria also did that. Was it last year? They banned us from Twitter, but some of us were still accessing Twitter using our VPNs on our phones and laptops. The internet brings opportunities for governments to place much more information in the public domain in a way which is easily located and readily accessible and downloadable. So most government departments, including local authorities, have their own websites containing significant amount of information. So what it's just trying to say is that even the governments actually need ICT. They need ICT because they also have government websites, like all these our immigration websites for doing passports, even NIN websites, that's National Insurance Number, even INEC websites. Government officials use these things. So they need this internet. They need it. It's very important for them. They need ICT. So I believe that that's basically what I want to talk about ICT in the society. It's not much. Oh, okay, yeah. Let's just treat one last thing: the software patents and the internet. The patenting of software used on the internet is a controversial area. Why? It's because patent rights are monopoly rights. Like I said before, a patent, the rights of a patent is monopoly. That means it's owned by only the person the patent was given to. Unlike copyright, which does not prevent the independent creation of similar works. Patents have been granted that could interfere with the design or operation of a website. So there are clear dangers in granting monopoly rights that will interfere with websites operated by others. As the internet is worldwide, that means there is a potential to infringe in any way. Because you see, the internet, everybody has access to internet, so there's a potential to infringe on someone else's property when you're using the internet, okay, unless the website is not targeted at those countries. So we have these various social issues, the various social issues of ICT. I don't know, there must, of course, everything has its advantages, there are disadvantages. So the various social issues. So information and communications technology has transformed the way we work and carry out transactions, the way we seek information, the way we pass our spare time. You do agree with me? It has really helped a lot. It has really influenced and affected our lives. So ICT now accounts for a large part of the labor force and the wealth of some nations. In the past, there were worries that the technology would result in a massive loss of jobs as machines, factory and office operations became computerized. But you will agree with me that ICT has even created more jobs even in companies, because now we need people who can operate this technology, this ICT technology. So the number of homes without computers nowadays is very, very few. There are only very few homes without computers. And when we say computers, we don't just mean computers and laptop. Phone is a computer. ATM is a computer. Anything that has an integrated circuit, that has ICT stuff, that's a computer. So you can name them. Your tablet is a computer. Your TV is a computer. So the benefits of ICT include the ability now to access massive amounts of information and to find out more about the workings and policies of government departments, local authorities, and other public bodies. But there is a danger in all this information that is now available online. Of course, everything has its disadvantage. It is not necessarily correct or complete, and there is a risk that some persons who access it take it at face value. As useful as it might be, not everything in Wikipedia is true. That's just an example. People tamper with things now because they have access to internet. Wikipedia has never been a good source for reference. The Wikipedia, you can update it right now. You can go and write anything you like in Wikipedia. I can also do that. So that one, people interfere with these things because they have access to internet. We must be careful when confronted with information online and be prepared to question it and preferably verify it anyhow we can before we partake in that information, because not every information that you see online that's actually true, because with the advancement of technology, people can manipulate information, deceive us. Like right now, all these frauds, you're just there, you receive a text from your bank, they say, oh, you won 10,000 naira, click this link. That's all because of ICT. Now everybody's manipulating all manner of things and causing so much issues for their fellow citizens. So the impacts of ICT will continue to develop and expand into new areas of society and social interactions and relationships. It is the duty of ICT professionals, managers, governments, and legislatures to ensure that the benefits continue to exceed the potential for harm. So, of course, there's always a potential for harm in everything. Just as ICT brings us its positives, it also brings us its negatives. So it's the duty of the ICT professionals and the government, the legislature, that's the law, the managers, all those people, to ensure that the benefits outweigh the negatives. So in summary, the use of ICT has particular implications for privacy rights, the right of freedom of expression, individuals in respect of decision taking significantly affecting them. Property rights in creative works may be vulnerable on the internet. Why? Because of piracy and peer-to-peer file sharing. You know what peer-to-peer file sharing is? Peer-to-peer file sharing. It's, of course, you know what it is. So when you're sharing files, getting files from here to there, sending a file from here to yourself, you can, because you have access to this file, you can easily just get the file. You can manipulate the file. You can take it. You can make copies of it. You can sell the copies. Like this material I gave to you. You know that I could have easily, found a way to sell it to you guys. Meanwhile, it's not mine. I didn't write it. I have no business with it. That's what we're talking about. If information online, you get it, and then it's susceptible to piracy. Selling it to you is pirating it. That's not the original copy. I'm taking someone else's copy and pirating it and giving it to you. Of course, I didn't do that. I just gave it to you to read, just the way I use it for my notes. And then they said legislators have attempted to protect creative works that are available online. They will try, but of course they can't succeed. The sale of music and film online is likely to have significant impacts on brick and mortar stores. Over-liberal granting of software patents may interfere with the growth of e-business. The growth of ICT has changed working practices and employment patterns, you would agree. The growth of ICT has created a large number of new jobs, you would agree with me, right? And the growth of ICT provides opportunities for more home working. And finally, the growth of ICT has brought about increased dangers of taking online information as authoritative. So the growth of ICT has its negatives, its positives. So you can think of other ways which ICT has helped us, and you can think of other ways in which ICT has caused damage to us. So that is the end of our class and the end of information technology lore. So I thank you guys. Like I said, if you have any questions, anything that you don't understand, you write it out in the comment section and I will answer your question as fast as I can. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.